Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our hearing today for a couple shoreline permits. This is for the Mercer Island Club Marina reconfiguration and replacement project, files number SHL25-007 and 008. My name is Phil Albrechts. I'm the hearing examiner for the city of Mercer Island. I'll be conducting the hearing today. Hearing format is pretty standard, not too complicated for anybody. It starts off with a presentation from staff, which I believe that's going to be Ms. Manahan, right? You're going to give us an overview of her staff report and her recommendation for approval. After staff's done making their presentation, we'll move on to the applicants. The applicants, you're not required to say anything, but my understanding is you have a presentation all ready to go. So looking forward to that. After staff and applicant comments, then we'll go on to the purpose of the hearing today, which is to hear from the public, and anyone who wants to speak, of course, will have a chance to do that. And once we get to that portion of the hearing, I'll explain how to make yourself heard at that point. Once we're done hearing from the public, we'll go back to Ms. Manahan to answer any questions that were raised, and she has a right to present rebuttal evidence to close off the record. And applicant, as a matter of due process, also gets final opportunity to present evidence and as rebuttal evidence and make any closing comments they wish. After all that's done, I get about 10 business days to issue a final decision for the city. Any of those of you out there who want to get a copy of that decision, be sure that Ms. Estrada has a copy of your email address. Ms. Estrada, how can people get their email address to you? Do you have an email address they should send that to, or how's that done in Mercer Island?
Yes, they can send it to me at DEB dot Estrada, ESTRADA, at the city, at mercerisland.gov.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, if any of you didn't catch that, you can call the planning department. I'm sure they'll let you know how to get that decision. I think you're entitled to a hard copy if you want, but of course it's easier on everybody if you'll take email service instead. Okay, now by state law, I'm not allowed to talk to anybody about this project. All the information I have on it is from, at this point, the staff report and exhibits supporting that staff report that Ms. Manahan put together. That way, everyone who participates in this hearing knows exactly what information was used to come up with a final decision. I don't have any background information from the applicants or staff. I'm not allowed by state law to talk to them about anything of substantive pertinence to this application. So I'm going to share screen if I have that ability. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this should be the staff report. And let's see. Oh, we got the exhibits in Mercer Island. They put it on the first 2 pages of the staff report that Ms. Manahan put together. We've got the applications there, plan sets, which depict how the project design is going to be laid out, the project narrative, application for state permits. We've got a no net loss assessment. State law requires that these projects have no net loss on environmental resources. We got geotechnical review, the wave reflection study. I know that was an issue that was of some concern to a couple neighbors, so they had an engineer put that together. Cultural resources and determination of completeness means the application was done. And we got some comment letters, of course, which I've read. And if you don't see your name on that list, let us know, and we'll make sure to get your comments in there. And we got comments from the Snoqualmie tribe and I think Department of Ecology and so forth. And also the hydraulic project approval, that's another state permit that's required. So looks like a total of 22 exhibits so far. At this point, just want to ask if anyone needs to see any of these documents or has any objection to their entry in the record. Objection would be at this point based on pretty narrow ground that you don't find the documentation relevant to this proceeding, or something just isn't authentic. If you just disagree with its contents, those are comments you can make during the hearing. So if anyone has any problems with those documents, click on the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. And I'm not seeing any takers there, so I'm going to go ahead and admit exhibits 1 through 22, as well as the staff report itself. So all testimonies today will be taken under oath, and we're going to start off with Ms. Manahan. Ms. Manahan, if you could unmute yourself and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
I do.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Grace Manahan, a co-compliance planner with the City of Mercer Island. I will be providing the staff recommendations and overview today. Just before I get started, I did want to point out an error that was found in the staff report. On page 20, under the conclusions of law for SHL25-007, Mercer Island City Code 19.07.110 Table B is cited, which should actually be Mercer Island City Code 19.13.050D. The information is correct, but it's just that code section is cited incorrectly. If there is any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. Okay. Moving on to the proposed project, this is a request for a shoreline substantial development permit as well as a shoreline conditional use permit for the reconfiguration and expansion of an existing marina, the installation of a new wave attenuator, and beach cove on a property within the single-family residential zone R8.4. The existing moorage configuration can be found on sheet 4 of the plan set. It includes 6 docks labeled A through F. No work will occur on piers E or F. Pier A is a combined swim and moorage dock, while piers B through D are moorage docks only. The boat slip count after project completion will be the exact same as the current marina, with the addition of 5 jet ski lifts. The new configuration will push the boat merge further from the ordinary high water mark, starting approximately 80 feet from the shore. The proposed reconfiguration can be found on sheet 5 of the plan set and will result in an increase in overwater coverage by 4,084.4 square feet. However, the overwater coverage within 30 feet of the ordinary high water mark will be reduced by 380 square feet. The use of graded decking will also reduce the overall shadowing of the new marina. In addition to the removal of overwater coverage in the near shore, the proposal will remove 60 linear feet of rock and timber bulkhead and replace it with approximately 60 linear feet of beach just south of the swim area. There is currently a cedar log boom surrounding the swimming area at the south end of the marina, which is proposed to be replaced by a new wave attenuator in a similar location to provide protection for ecological function in the nearshore area, as well as provide greater wave dissipation. The proposed development does require 3 separate land use applications, which are the Shoreline Substantial Development Permit for the work within the shoreline jurisdiction of Lake Washington, a shoreline conditional use permit for the reconstruction of the existing marina as required by the city shoreline master program, and SEPA review for work within Lake Washington. The SEPA determination of non-significance for SHL25-007 was issued by the City of Mercer Island on November 17th, 2025, and no appeals were received. I did want to touch on some procedural requirements and key dates. Both applications were received in April. A notice of application went out on April 14th, 2025. 6 comments were received during that public comment period. A notice of public hearing was published December 15th, 2025, which was more than 30 days in advance of the hearing today. Beyond that, staff has reviewed the Shoreline Substantial Development Permit as well as the Shoreline Conditional Use Permit application for conformance with the shoreline standards in Chapter 1913 of the Mercer Island City Code, the procedural requirements in Chapter 1915 of the Mercer Island City Code, standards for marinas and moorages found in WAC 332-30-139, and the review criteria for conditional use permits found in WAC 173-27-160. Based on the findings in the staff report, staff recommend that the hearing examiner recommends approval to the Washington State Department of Ecology, subject to the conditions found on page 20, 21, 23, and 24 of the staff report for these 2 applications, SHL25-007 and SHL25-008. Thank you, Mr. Hearing Examiner. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, actually, it's about parking, and that's kind of debatable whether that's part of a shoreline permit. But I was kind of curious, why this didn't trigger any parking requirements. We have a few more jet ski bays. We're also replacing a pretty major, significant part of the project. How does that fit in with the city's parking regulations?
Yeah, so I'll speak on this, and if the applicant has anything else they'd like to add, I'll open up to them as well. But because there's no new moorages being proposed, the new jet ski lifts won't trigger any growth in current membership of the beach club, and therefore won't trigger any new parking requirements for the beach club.
I mean, do the city's parking standards have some threshold for where replacement, of an existing use at some point triggers new parking standards? Or because, like I said, it sounds like there's more than 50% or something of the site that's being redeveloped, right? So, I mean, how does that work? I just haven't looked at your parking standards, so I don't know off the top of my head.
Mhm. Um,
Well, I can
I
look into it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's a
yeah, let me look into that a little further.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe during staff closing comments, that's fine. Bring that
Okay.
up. All right. Well, that's. I mean, I had questions about the wave reflection study. I take it that's for probably better directed at the applicant, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, we'll do.
Mhm.
All right. Move on to the applicant. Ms. Rogers, are you taking the lead on that one?
I am, Mr. Albright.
Okay.
Good
All
morning.
right. Go ahead. Good morning.
Could we have the clerk bring up the applicant's presentation slide, just that one slide we sent in?
Grace, do you have that document that you can share?
Yes, I do. One moment. Loading.
And while she's pulling that up, I will also say that our position on parking stalls for the club is all driven by the club's membership. And the club's membership is not at all changing from these changes to the marina. So anyone who's got a jet ski there is going to be the same group of people who currently use the club. So that increase in jet ski slips is not related to any kind of increase that would drive an increase in parking.
Okay. Makes sense. So, Ms. Manahan, you're getting the applicant's presentation, is that right?
I am, and it should be there
Here it
now.
comes. All right, perfect. Okay, we're set.
Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to provide a big picture overview of the reasons for this project and the end goal. The Mercer Island Beach Club has been around since the 1950s. The marina is, actually older than me. And it is wooden. It is old technology in terms of the marina world. And it is really structurally at the end of its life. You can see some of the photos on this presentation demonstrating some of the damage that has occurred over the years. The current design also obviously isn't in compliance with current city and state and federal regulations. And another big driver here for these changes is that boat dimensions have changed over time, and the current size of boats, and quite frankly, the upper limit on size of boats based on the size of a trailer you can use to take a boat onto a highway, are now at that maximum. And so we need to increase the dimensions of the slips just slightly and have a different slip configuration in order to accommodate the current boats that are out there in our community and amongst our membership. And so with that as our background, our proposal really is this new marina, a new design, single point of access in order to be compliant with Fish and Wildlife, with ecology, with the state agency regulations. We're going to replace all of the solid surface, classic old-fashioned wood dock surfaces with newer light penetrating decking. We're going to provide a safer design for the swimmers and boaters by separating what is currently a combined dock that allows the kids to access the swim area and also boaters to access boats and moorage on the same dock. We're going to separate those two so as to create a separation between those two uses, which will enhance and increase safety for all users of the marina. As Ms. Manahan has indicated, The same number of boat slips is going to be in the new marina as in the current design. And as I've indicated earlier, and I think is also indicated in the staff report, there's no increase in the number of beach club members that is associated with this change. This is merely an upgrade of the marina facilities to continue serving the existing number of members in the Mercer Island Beach Club, and to provide the ecological benefits that a new modern marina can provide as compared to the current situation. This project has been thoroughly reviewed by many agencies for years, and we are super happy to be at this point of in front of you today for a recommendation on both the Shoreline Substantial Development Permit and the Shoreline Conditional Use Permit. In fact, in terms of that review, you'll note that Exhibit 22 in the record is the recently approved hydraulic project approval from Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. That's not really discussed in the staff report because it came in a bit later than the staff report preparation. Not late, it's timely in terms of the project. But it is there, and I thought it was important that you know that that approval has been given. We do have a number of our consultants available today, should you have any questions for them. Those consultants include Brad Teal from Northwest Environmental. He's our biologist, prepared our No Net Loss report. We have John Kaiser from PND Engineers, who prepared our wave energy analysis report. We have Paul Wilcox from Waterfront Construction. Waterfront Construction obviously designed the new marina. We have Mary Ellen Russell from Russell Lambert Landscape Architects. Should you have any questions about the plantings that are associated with the redesigned marina. We have Kyle Bozick from Pacific Engineering Technologies, and we have Ted Shepper from Terra Associates, obviously the geotechnical engineer. We are here today in front of you in support of the city staff recommendation for both the Shoreline Substantial Development Permit and the Shoreline Conditional Use Permit. Just a side note, as I think you will have seen, the city combined those permit processes together, which is why the city staff report is proposing that you, Mr. Examiner, make a recommendation to Ecology to recommend that Ecology approve both the Shoreline Substantial Development Permit and the Shoreline Conditional Use Permit, rather than having the city approve the Substantial Development Permit and Ecology approve the Conditional Use Permit. That's a little different than some things you might have seen, but I think it makes sense in this context, given the city code provisions regarding consolidation of permits and consolidated permit review. So we are here again asking that you follow the staff report recommendation for approval. We're in agreement with the proposed staff recommended conditions as well. And with that, it sounds like you might have some questions for some of our experts about the log boom as the wave attenuator and how that impacts the waves. It is only that feature of the marina structure that has been classified as a wave attenuator, and as staff described in their staff report, the log boom as a wave attenuator is permitted under city code because it is there to protect the new ecological features that we are adding to the shoreline as part of the mitigation for the overall project. With that, I can you can stop sharing that slide if you'd like. Yeah, thank you. Great.
Okay, so yeah, if we could bring up the engineer, that'd be great. And then what was his name again?
John Kaiser.
Oh, okay, all right. You there, Mr. Kaiser?
I think he's going to have to be elevated from a participant to a panelist.
One moment and I'll take care of that. Is it possible that Mr. Kaiser, if you could raise your hand, your name is not listed. However, there we are. Okay.
Oh, there he is. Okay, perfect. All right, Mr. Kaiser, and you even unmuted yourself. Good job. Let me swear you in first. Just raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
I do.
Okay, great. And all right. Oh, and we got I think we're getting your video. Hold on a second. I had you on my screen. Oh, there you are. Okay. And are you aware your video's not on? It's not, I don't think it's
Is it?
necessary, but it's, yeah. I mean, your camera should be at the bottom left of your screen. And if there's a red line through it, if you click on that, your video should turn on. If you
All I
have,
have is audio
oh,
visible.
okay. That's
There's
fine.
no spot to turn the camera on. I can see
Okay.
myself.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly okay. All right. So, yeah, this is just a couple questions. One is kind of basic physics. It's the last time I took an engineering physics course was in 1982, so my memory's a little vague on that. But from what I recall, when you're talking about wave energy, it's attributable to both wave height as well as wave length. And is that correct? Because your study just kind of discussed wave height, so I'm kind of curious if wavelength is an added factor as well.
We discussed wave period, which is wavelength. That's the distance between the peaks. So
Right.
it's the same thing. They're all tied together, wave period and wave height.
Oh, okay. Because when I was looking at the table in your study, it showed how I thought what the wave height was at various observation points. So that's wave period instead. Is that correct?
No, that's wave height.
Okay.
But those are two parameters that are put in the model, is the period
Oh,
and the wave height.
okay. And so on the wave height data, I mean, there were a couple places where the height was like 0.01 higher or something, obviously a less than 1% increase. I mean, is that, I mean, this may be outside of your field, but is that really considered negligible in terms of erosion impacts? So over time, that 0.01 is not going to make any difference. Is that the conclusion we should reach from that data? Mr. Kaiser, are you there? Did I lose you?
Looks like
Oh,
he's
yeah, Mr. Kaiser
muted.
again.
Ah,
There you go.
look at
Yeah,
that.
you're back. Okay, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
we didn't hear any response, so yeah, if you could start over again.
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Oh, it was simply, I noted, I saw in the table for wave height that a couple observation points, I think it was like 0.01 higher or something. And I'm just wondering, I don't, like I said, I don't know if this is in the scope of your expertise, but is that difference still considered negligible enough to conclude that it's not going to have any material impact on erosion over the long term?
Correct. I would consider that as negligible change in the wave height. I believe it would be within the parameters of the design. It's negligible. Correct.
Okay, so almost nothing. All right, that's all I had. Yeah, pretty simple, basic question. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your input on that.
Yep.
All right. Okay, Ms. Rogers, anything else?
Nothing at this time. Happy to talk in rebuttal should public have any.
Okay. All right, we'll get to that. Okay, well, I guess now we can move on to the public. That presentations have been mercifully short so far. Sometimes we can spend an hour just before we get to the public portion. So those who want to say something today, consider yourself a little lucky there. So if anybody wants to speak, just go ahead and click that raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. Some Zoom applications, instead of a raise hand button these days, they have just a heart at the bottom of your screen. If that's what you have, just click on the heart and then a menu will come up with a raise hand button. So either way, because I'm not seeing any takers for comment, and I did read all your comments and I will be responding to that in the decision that I issue. So, all right, last call. Ms. Estrada, do you see anyone who wants to say anything? They're making it too easy on us. All right.
No, sir, I haven't seen anybody in either the attendees or the panelists.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, if any of you, for whatever reason, can't get that raise hand button to work, go ahead and send an email to Ms. Estrada. Just get it to her by 5 p.m. tomorrow, and just identify you were unable for technical reasons to figure out how to be heard today. And I'll let your comments come in, and of course, I'll give the applicant and staff a chance to respond. But that's only if you were unable to, to be heard today because of technical reasons. So, I guess with that, back to Ms. Manahan. Any comments you want to make in response to staff comments?
Yes, just one note on the parking requirements and going back to that question initially asked. A transportation concurrency review was not required for this project per our code MICC 19.20.030, just due to there not being a proposed, there being no new net trips proposed and membership numbers staying the same. And so that's why there is no parking review or transportation concurrency review done for this project.
Oh, okay. And there were some comments too about the parking signs being too small or something. Has staff looked into that? Do you have any response to that?
I looked into it initially when that comment came in. Those signs are located in the public right of way, and so if the beach club did want to pursue maybe some safety initiatives or something with the public utility staff or a department in the city, that could be a path forward. But as it is not located on site, it didn't seem extremely relevant to the concern of the project at hand.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, Ms. Rogers, you get final word there.
Obviously concur with Ms. Manahan's discussion of parking on both on-site and off-site. We are in compliance with the standards that we need to meet. And again, nothing about this marina is changing any of the operational factors related to parking. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. All right. Yeah, interesting. Well, it's kind of funny you're talking about recommendations versus a final decision. I mean, it's kind of semantics. I've always thought it was when you're dealing with a conditional use permit that I issue a final decision and then DOE has to come up with a final decision agreeing with that. Same effect either way, I think ultimately. But although what I didn't realize was kind of interesting is that because obviously I know all about consolidation at the local level. I didn't realize that would also be consolidated up for the DOE review as well. So that's an interesting. I have to look at that real quick. I'm sure you're right. I just like I said, it doesn't come up too often. So. But either way, this is Department of Ecology ultimately has to at least approve the conditional use permit and probably the shoreline substantial development permit as well. So this is just a second to last step for the applicant on the shoreline permit. So looks like you're heading to the end of a long journey there, and I think that all the primary impacts have been, well addressed. I was really happy to see that wave study. When I saw the public concern about that, the first thing that came to mind is we need to look into this, and it did get looked into. So that's perfect. I'm glad that was taken care of. I'm sure that's a bit of a relief for the neighbors as well. So should be a fairly straightforward approval, and like I said, that'll get kicked up to the Department of Ecology. So anyway, thanks all for participating today. Have a great weekend, and we're adjourned. See you next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Bye.